Whoa, that's really loud. Sorry about that. Are there any special intentions? Yes, Councilman Wilmot.
I'd just like to mention, if it wasn't mentioned before, and I don't think it was, but it's somebody who's near and dear to a lot of us in Kenner. Mr. Claude Tadero, a longtime barber in the city of Kenner, who recently passed away at the age of 99. He cut hair of so many people, and he did it for decades. He truly loved his family in the city of Kenner. He was a Navy war veteran who was the chairman of the State Board of Kenner's Veterans Park. And he got so many things done in that Veterans Park. Every time I go over there, I look at it and I think of him. He was also a former appointed councilman, I believe for about a year. He was heavily involved in the Kenner politics. If you ran for office, everybody talked to Claude. He was a true leader, a good friend to so many people, and he'll truly be missed. I ask that y'all keep him in your prayers and thoughts, and him and his family. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Wilmot. Anyone else? Okay, I'd like to invite Councilwoman Dee Dunn to say the prayer.
Let us please bow our heads. Father, in the name of Jesus, dear Master, as we come to you once again this hour in the morning, we just want to tell you thank you for all the blessings that you have bestowed upon us. And now, dear God, we ask a blessing upon the mayor, the police chief, the fire chief, this council, this administration, that you would minister to our needs, dear God, that we will be in a position that whatever decisions we make governing the city of Kenner, that you would be in our decisions. God, we already thank you for the blessings that you've done. We had storms that passed over last week, but they passed us over, dear God. But let us not remember those that the tornadoes touched down and devastated their lives. Let us not forget about the bereaved, Claude Tadero and his family, that you would look down upon them and lift them up, dear God. And Father, today as we move forward, we continue to pray for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, that no decision we make are the decision that would help better for the betterment of Kenner. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Councilmember Wilmot, will you please lead us in the pledge?
Please remain standing and place your hands over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In accordance with Council Resolution Number B14550, please be advised that all cellular telephones and other devices of this nature must be deactivated or silenced throughout the council meeting. Madam Chairman, we have a quorum. Do we have any resolutions, motions, or other items from the floor? Seeing none, under the consent agenda, I have item 1, approval of the minutes, the regular council meeting of March 5th, 2026. Item 2 is approval of alcoholic beverage permit applications. We have none. Item 3 is approval of bingo and public gathering applications. Item 3A is application number 26-002, Kevin Guffey, to hold a public gathering on March 28, 2026 from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. for the purpose of a church and school fundraiser at Divine Mercy Roman Catholic Church, 4337 Salentini Parkway, Kenner, Louisiana. Item 3B is application number 26-007, Councilman George Brannigan, to hold a public gathering on March 28, 2026, from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. for the purpose of a Holly Heights Spring Festival and Easter egg hunt at Miguez Park, 3305 Rancher Road. And that will conclude the consent agenda. I have a motion by Councilmember McKinney, seconded by Councilmember Brennan for the consent agenda. All council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Under the public appearance agenda, we have item 8, public hearings and final passage. Item 8A is a public hearing regarding summary ordinance number 58, an ordinance amending ordinance 11,044 adopted March 3, 2016, to allow for the addition of an office space and allowing for a contractor's office, shop, and storage yard on Lot 31B1, Square 159, Kenner Heights Subdivision, Kenner, Jefferson Parish, Louisiana, as shown on a survey by Gilbert, Kelly, and Couturi Incorporated dated October 3, 2015, and site plan by Contemporary Engineering Services Incorporated dated December 31, 2025, which property is owned by James Muhammad. I have a motion by Councilmember McKinney, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot, to open the public hearing. All council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. We're now in a public hearing. The Planning Department has a presentation.
Good morning, everyone. This is planning case PUD 126. The owner and applicant is Mr. James Mohammed of 1710 18th Street, Kenner, Louisiana. The subject property was originally developed under Special Ordinance 11,044, which was adopted on March 3rd, 2016, and approved a warehouse and office for the storage of recreational uses. At this time, the applicant would like to amend the special ordinance to allow for the construction of an approximately 200 square foot office space and to allow for the use of a contractor's office, shop, and storage yard on Lot 31B1, Square 159, Kenner Heights Subdivision, 1718 18th Street. The applicant had a public early neighborhood meeting on December 8th, 2025 at 1710 18th Street. The applicant notified surrounding property owners within 250 feet and provided an email address and phone number for anyone to contact them in lieu of attending the meeting. 22 invitations were mailed, 2 neighbors attended. No issues were raised with this particular proposal. This property fronts on 18th Street with Oxley Street to the east, Maria Street to the west, and Drainage Canal number 5 to the north. The land abutting the subject property to the east and south is zoned R1P, which is residential planned unit development. This permits the same uses of the R1 single-family residential district, and it also allows planned unit developments. Unlike other planned unit developments in the city, this zoning district does not have a minimum size requirement. The land to the west and north is all zoned special industrial and permits primarily industrial uses. The land to the west and north is also in special ordinance and permits primarily industrial uses, including Special Ordinance 3135, which allows storage and parking facility from 1981, Special Ordinance 10,883, which allows a billboard from 2015, Special Ordinance 11,457, which allows a warehouse from 2018, and finally Special Ordinance 12,215, which allows an office and warehouse from 2023. Again, this location was originally an office and warehouse for the storage of recreational vehicles. This is just going to allow the construction of the office space and allow a contractor to have their office, shop, and storage yard. They will be required, just as every other contractor office, shop, and storage yard, they will need to have a minimum 6-foot-high fence to shield any things stored outside. The parking that was originally provided is sufficient. There is no need for additional parking. The site is fully developed. There's no need for landscaping. There's no proposed signage, and the use is consistent with the Pattern for Progress future land use plan, which calls for commercial uses in the area. The Planning Commission heard this case at the February 25th meeting, and they recommended approval.
Great, thank you. Do you have any questions from the audience? Okay, see, any council members? Councilmember Sharworth?
Thank you, ma'am. With Chris's approval, I also approve this, and I have no problem with that. I urge my colleagues to please vote for this ordinance.
Councilmember Lahat?
Due to a prior attorney-client relationship with James and Mohammed, I'll be abstaining from this vote.
Any other questions? Okay. No one from the audience. Motion by Councilmember McKinney, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot to close the public hearing. Council members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 6-0. Councilmember Lahat has abstained.
Motion by Councilmember McKinney, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot to approve. Council members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 6-0. Councilmember Lahat abstaining. Item 9 is ordinances for the sale, purchase, transfer, lease, and/or alienation of immovable property. We have none. Item 10 is opening of bids. We have none. Item 11 is reclassification of zoning for final passage. We have none. Item 12 is other ordinances for final passage. Item 12A is summary ordinance number 14,080, an ordinance authorizing the filing of a pre-application, full application, and issued debt in the amount of $2 million to the Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality, DEQ, for the purpose of placing the City of Kenner on a priority list for funding through the Clean Water State Revolving Fund Loan Program for the Department of Wastewater.
A motion by Councilmember Lahat, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Council members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 13 is resolutions and motions by council members. Item 13A is a resolution requesting the Jefferson Parish Council to amend the ordinance governing the Lafayette Park Recreation Service Charge to provide that all fees collected from the residents of the City of Kenner be dedicated to public parks and recreational facilities located within the City of Kenner.
Motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilmember McKinney. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item?
Anyone in the public wants to speak on this item, please come forward now too as well.
After the public, yeah. Councilmember Bohannon? Yes.
Wanted me to come up, but if it's okay with you, I
Yes,
can go ahead.
yeah.
Councilman Brannigan, you wanted to speak first?
Do you want to speak first?
Well, I just want to talk a little bit on this. You try to develop a great relationship with Jefferson Parish, and I did some research on this, and this has come up 3 times since 1988 and has never gone through. Now it's up for a 4th time. I've been told that it is public funds, a legal diversion of public funds, and I want to make sure that that's a correct statement. And the other thing that bothers me is that with 57 days from an election and bringing something up like this now, I feel that the next council and administration should deal with this situation. Because if you look at it, nothing's going to change in 57 days. So that's how I feel about it. So I would ask Councilwoman Bohannon to come up and talk about some of the points that I just made.
Okay. Councilmember Brennan?
Thank you for your comments, Councilman Brannigan. It has come up 3 times. And the first time was the initial put in place back in 1989. And then Councilmember Capitano and Councilmember Levine put a resolution forward again in 2003. And then Councilman Stagney and Councilman Denopolis did the same or a resolution in 2010, and that received 7 votes. Yes, things have not gone forward. Those were submitted by Councilman Stagney, Councilman Zahn, and Councilman Danapolis. Just because something didn't get put through back then or in another date, times have changed, things have changed. Our parks and recreation are in need of funding. Our parks and recreation are in disrepair. Yes, it is an election season. Nobody said this would be done. All we're voting for, all this question is to say, can we have a conversation? I'm asking for support from the council to have a conversation with Jefferson Parish to see if we can get any of these funds dedicated to the city of Kenner, for money to be back in the city of Kenner for parks and recreation. We are generating fees that are between $500,000 and $600,000 annually from Kenner households that are going to Lafreniere Park. I think some of that money going to our parks would be a whole lot of money that we could do some things with. I can't imagine any of us on this council can say any park or recreation facility within their district does not need some improvements or some repair. I would think that Mr. Elaine would also think if he had a $500,000 to $600,000 extra money, he could start getting a lot of things done and really knock off the Band-Aid approach to things. We have 350 acres of parks and recreation in the city of Kenner, whereas Jefferson Parish Lafreniere Park is 155. Yes, it is an election, but knocking doors and speaking with people, many, many people have brought up, why are we paying this money for Lafreniere Park when I don't go there? I don't attend it, I hadn't been to it, I've driven through it for the Christmas lights, and that's about it. This is just a way for us to get money back in the hands of Kenner to dedicate it to parks and recreation. And again, all this is saying is, can we sit down and have a conversation about it? I'm asking the council for support so that we could sit down and have that conversation.
Thank you, Councilman Brennan. Anyone else on the council? Councilman
Yes.
Dunn?
At this time, my council person, because we heard about this week on the agenda, my council person wants to have a sit-down with me and talk about it, about this issue. So I'm going to leave it at that. He wants to talk with me about it.
Ms. Dunn, to clarify, I think your council person is opposed to it and is happy to sit down and discuss it further with you to explain why.
Okay, Councilmember Bohannon?
Thank you, and thank you for the opportunity to talk about this. You know, this is very, very important to me and to the parish, obviously. This is the only regional playground and the only regional park that we have on the entire East Bank. So, and Councilman Brennan, you even pointed out that even if they don't go there for any other reason, they go there for the Christmas lights. That's hugely important to the parish.
That's not what I
So,
said. I said somebody just told me they only go, they've been there for the Christmas lights.
okay, but they go. So let's go forward with my little presentation that I did. I'm opposing 13A, and I'm asking you to vote no and not to consider it. I'm going to show you a little bit about the law. This was created specifically to make the East Jefferson Park and Community Center and Playground District for the parish of Jefferson. It's everything on the East Bank. Everyone on the East Bank pays into this. From the furthest border of Kenner to the nearest border of Lafreniere Park is less than a mile. You know, if people in Bonneville are not complaining about paying for this park, people in Kenner should be happy to enjoy all that Lafreniere Park has to offer. It's only one of 2 regional parks in the district. This one in particular services the East Bank, and the fee is $1.82 per household per month. That service fee is dedicated to this particular park by law. Lafreniere Park is the jewel of Jefferson. It is celebrated across the state for how beautiful it is. It is featured in magazines and newspaper articles across the country. It is the premier park and identified as such in many articles when they talk about the state of Louisiana. We have lots of things from the dog park to concerts to festivals. Uncle Sam Jam, I've seen many of you, including you, Councilman Brennan, that comes to Uncle Sam Jam every year. We have lots of runs. We have a food pavilion. We have sports, everything from golf frisbee that Kenner does not have to soccer. We have the new walking track that's been done. We have a bike path that now connects it to Kenner. We have the carousel, splash pad, and we have stock ponds for fishing. All of this for approximately $20 a house a year. When the park was built, Ed Munez represented us. He conducted a study, and even though we only pay 29% of the fees collected for Lafreniere Park, we represent over 33% of the usage. Looking at today's numbers, though, we believe it's closer to 40%, including the booking of the private events, the carousel, and the participation in the events there are many, many Kenner residents. And Ed Munez said at the time, this was never intended to be a local park. This is a regional park, which is why the parish chips in regionally. These are the parks projects that I personally have helped with across the city. Everything from District 1, I know that that's Byron Lee's district, but he has invested in the parks and playgrounds in Rivertown. We're always supportive of any events that you have. District 2 has had a lot of attempts to revitalize Green Lawn Terrace, which we're still in talks about. District 3 has amazing stuff happening. We have a pickleball court going up. It's a conversion of a playground. That'll be opening later this year. We have an almost $2 million playground that's going in at Lake Town. That is parish funds. Parish funds, almost $2 million. In District 4, we've done Miguez improvements. We did an entire expansion on the right side of Miguez. It is the only inclusion playground in the city of Kenner, at least until Lake Town comes. When Lake Town comes, it will be the largest inclusion playground in the entire state. In District 5, we haven't done any projects. There's a new potential councilman coming in. He's reached out to me about 2 specific projects that he will need help funding with. So I look forward to doing those in the future. Just on parks and playgrounds, since I've been there, we are contributing $19.5 million. $19.5 million in the city of Kenner's parks and playgrounds. It doesn't include repairs on the bridge. It doesn't include the Williams Boulevard $1.5 million sign improvement program that we're doing. None of that. This is just parks and recreation. So diverting the funds would be illegal, okay? So I can't simply divert the funds that we're collecting and move those to Kenner. It would basically have to be a change in the law at both the local, state, and parish levels. Lafreniere generates from Kenner between $380,000 to $428,000 from Kenner residents. We exclude elderly and we exclude disabled. So if you are elderly or disabled, that is not on your water bill. And if it is, let the water department know. And you don't have to own the property. If you are elderly and you reside in the property, you are exempt. Taking into consideration the $19.5 million that I've put in just this year, that the parish has put in just this year, it would take us 49 years to recover. So if you come to the parish and you say, we want to be on an island by ourselves, and we put you on an island by yourself, you have to know what that might look like. 49 years to break even from just this last year. I am constantly arguing to the parish that the Jefferson Parish is one, and that includes all the municipalities. And I disagree that there hasn't been a lot of advancements in our park. This mayor has dedicated a lot of time and attention to making our parks and playgrounds look beautiful. And you can see it in the ones, particularly the councilmen, who are investing a lot of time. Now, you've asserted in the legislation or in the resolution that parks are important. I could not agree more. I have built 5 playgrounds. They are immensely important, okay? But I want to talk, and I'm going to direct my comments to just your particular district, Councilman Brennan, because you're the only one on this resolution. These are pictures that I took from the park that is approximately a block from your house, okay? I can't find where you've allocated any funding at all to go to improvements in this park. Then last year, you had the opportunity to vote to receive $150,000 that you could have used towards your parks, and you voted against it. And in fact, I believe, I could be wrong, but I think you were the only councilman to vote against it. So your solution is to divert from a beautiful park that the city of Kenner uses and the entire region uses and bring it here. These are some additional pictures of your playground. That is a press release that you did yesterday. You said you're doing this because you want to promote fairness among the East Bank residents while enhancing recreational opportunities parish-wide. I am not sure how this, singling out Kenner and putting it on an island alone, could possibly accomplish the goal of parish-wide opportunities. I don't think the people in Metairie are going to appreciate very much your lack of participation in maintaining the only regional park in the entire East Bank. The solution is actually simpler than that. It's to prioritize the investment in parks and recreation. It is not to take away from a park that is loved. This would include using district funds for projects in your district. And I got 2 examples up here. We have Miguez Playground that is beautiful, maintained beautifully. If there's a blade of grass out of order, Councilman Brannigan's calling and complaining. And he has invested funds into expanding that playground. And he asked me to help, and I'm more than happy to help with that. Councilman Lahat came. He said, I have this playground, it's totally defunct. What do you think we can do with it? We brainstormed, we came up with converting it to pickleball. And so Alabama has begun the conversion of that defunct tennis court into a beautiful outdoor pickleball court. And together we lobbied, we went to the commissioner, he's donated the lighting for us. So we brainstormed and we came up with a way to convert that. But that is a councilman who has dedicated and prioritized recreation. And that's what it looks like. This is what I'm asking the council today. I'm asking you not to support 13A. I think it sends a really, really bad message to the parish. The morning that this was added to the agenda, literally that morning, I had a meeting with Jefferson Parish Recreation about the Lake Town project. And I was lobbying them to get them to actually do the project for us. And I don't mean just fund the project. I have the funding for the project. I meant I wanted our staff and resources to be the ones to actually install, watch, maintain, supervise this project. Because we have a lot bigger staff than Kenner. And every time I can save us 5 cents, I save it. I lobbied them that morning to do that. They agreed. The director of Lafreniere Park called me. He's like, you got me into another project in Kenner. Because he's going to be the one that's stuck watching this project for us to make sure that every nut is screwed in, every bolt is done like it's supposed to be. And it's what he just did at Lafreniere for Tripp's Treehouse. And he calls me that afternoon and he says, what are you guys doing? What are you doing? You wrote me into this project and now y'all are trying to take away my funding. I said, no, it's not y'all. Please let us sort this out. What it does is it sends a message that we are not cohesive to the parish and to the state. And what I'm asking you is not only to not support this, but next time, call me, set up a meeting, come into my office. We'll talk about why. We talk about why it wouldn't be supportive, why it's not going to be favored by the parish, why I can demonstrate that Kenner residents use it. I can show you the bookings. But you didn't ask me one question. This just pops up on an agenda. And it's not just embarrassing for me, it's embarrassing for all of us. Because now we look to the parish that we are not cohesive. So I'm asking you not only to not support this today, but in the future when you have funding that you're confused about or you want to try to have access to, come to me. Come to me first. Don't pop it up on an agenda where I have to come here and defend myself in public. It's not a good look for any of us. Anyone have any questions for me?
I'd like to comment before it
Yeah.
closes.
Okay, so wait, Councilmember Lahat.
All right, I'll try to be as short as I can. This also popped up Monday morning when I was at my office, and I'd never seen it before, so I first put on my lawyer hat when I deal with anything, something like this, calling for a change in ordinance. I contacted our legal team. Our legal department had never seen this. Our city attorney had not drafted it, which gave me a huge red flag, number one. Then I researched, spent half the day researching what we did in the past. It's already been cited that this has been done 3 times already. We've already done this. We've already requested Jefferson look at the Lafreniere Park fee see if we can get it back for recreation. Everybody wants more recreation money. I mean, that's just obvious. Relationships. I've been contacting District 4 before I was in office. I was a private citizen contacting your predecessor, Dominic Impastato, who redid the boat launch. Like, we got to get this done, dude. I mean, and he did it. We got it done. You came into office, and since then, I talked to you a lot. I talked to your team a lot for ideas. We started this pickleball project over a year ago. They're putting the lights in now. I told you I don't have the money to build a pickleball. I have some, but can you guys help me? We went out there several times. You got it done. We got it drafted. Great work with the city administration, and we've had a very good system with me, you, and Mike Glazer's office getting stuff done in my district. We have the sign program at Williams Boulevard. $10,000 grant for putting up signs, new pedestal, beautiful pedestal type signs on businesses on Williams, which has been needing for 30 years. And the amphitheater obviously is a $13 million thing that y'all are heading up. You're building the new playground out there, and I don't want to divulge the design yet, because it's really cute. I know you're kind of saving that for when we open it and show that to the public. But relationships, if that's the goal of this thing, I think that's simply ridiculous. I've had a great relationship with Rita Bohannon's office in District 4, so I've gotten in. I lobby for her for more money. I know Mayor Glazer does, and she helps us. And there's no reason to tell Jefferson Parish, you need to give us more money back, because we just don't. This is not the way to do this. This was out of the blue to me. The legality thing gives me a huge pause to even do this, because if it might be illegal on its face in terms of requiring Jefferson to amend the ordinance based on a referendum vote of a Lafreniere Park fee instilled 40 or 50 years ago. I run at Lafreniere Park 12 miles a week. I'm there almost 5 days a week, so there's a lot of people in Driftwood I know. I know a lot of people use it. I think the word about this is really, the word is improvident. I don't think this is the right way to do this. I do agree with Councilman Brannigan that the next council should deal with something like this if it's really something that the council wants to do. At this time, I think, and Councilwoman D, I heard you said earlier you want to talk with Lee. I think a better way to deal with this right now. I'm going to substitute a motion for an indefinite deferral on this resolution 13A. Point of order. I need a second on. Okay, go ahead, Tom.
I'd like the opportunity to speak before we.
Okay, I'll take it back, and can I take it back and let him speak first?
Yeah, you don't have a second yet, so you're good.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
And I'd like to respond as well.
Okay.
Mayor Glazer.
We're still on the legislation, just so everybody knows. We're
Yes.
still talking about the legislation.
Thank you. First of all, sorry I was late. I was at the airport for their press conference. Any government administrator wants more revenue, taxes. But I guess when this comes up, you don't see the snowball effect it'll have. Coincidentally, yesterday I was in a meeting with Jefferson Transit about the Kenner Loop. The Kenner Loop cost $1,249,615 to operate. When we moved it from RTA and put it under Jefferson Transit, there's a millage. The millage falls short on paying this tab. If y'all vote or asked the parish president to give you said around $600,000 from fees from Lafreniere Park, we're getting a bill to make up the difference for just this one project, and it's probably going to equal or surpass whatever fee is paid to Lafreniere Park. And that's just one of many. Then Sheriff Newell Norman, when this was trying to be done with the 911 communication taxes, he says you don't want a bill for every time Jefferson Parish does a service for the city of Kenner, because you're going to triple your costs. And I do think this is a wonderful idea if everybody's happy and they give the money and we just move on, but it will have a snowball effect. I'm not saying this is bad. I think everybody wants more money. I just think we probably needed to talk about this a little bit more to find out exactly what goes down we just, in a half-hour conversation in my office, how much money the councilwoman went through, how much she does. I'm not shy saying I go everywhere to find money. And would I like to have this and have the parish still pay the whole bill and run the Kenner Loop? That would be the perfect thing, but I caution just to get one fee back, and then all of a sudden we get 25 bills that we're not going to be able to afford what, $13 million annually we probably get in services. So that's it. I just caution you with that. Look, you can pass it, we can have the conversation, but I don't think it's going to change the end where we get more money. It could affect us where we're losing money. So that's it. Look, I appreciate the councilman for bringing it up, but I do think that it's not going to get us any money, because I guarantee you, if y'all vote for this, she says yes, and he'll take your bill back and pay it in another account. So that's kind of where we are today. And I kind of, just any government administrator wants more money. Everybody knows that. It's just, do you pass it on to people? Do you try to take it from here? That's my only concern with this. Look, if you pass it, we'll have the conversation. I just don't think we're going to get the $600,000 to go into recreation, because they're going to get their money one way or the other. It's just if they're going to bill us for services or the fee. That's it. So, sorry I rambled a little too long, but.
Thank you, Mayor Glazer. Councilmember Wilmot?
Thank you, Madam Chair. First off, I'd like to thank the councilwoman for appearing and giving us this background. It's very informative, and we need direction sometimes, unfortunately, especially on this type of thing. And Mayor, I appreciate your comments. All that helps. I would like to say that the first time I heard this issue was Councilman Brennan gave me a call and told me it was on the agenda and I should look at it. And I thought he did his homework, but obviously it was not done, and I'll tell you why. This is an old idea that has been around for quite some time, and I'm just pointing it out that there's been 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 resolutions that have been done on this matter over the years. They were filed in 1989, 2003, and 2010. Obviously, if it could have been done, it would have been done already, and it hasn't been. So this is going to pop up now, right before an election. This reeks of politics. In this body, we should not consider political issues. This body is supposed to be for the people, and I have a problem with that. I called the council clerk to find out specifically if any copies, these have been requested by anybody before it was filed, and it was not. That's a problem. Additionally, I called the city attorney to ask him, or the assistant city attorney, or one of them, who had drafted this. And the response was interesting, to say the least. It was not drafted through their office. So who did it? That's very interesting, to say the least, as well. This question has been asked and answered several times already, as I pointed out. It's wrong to use this body as such a ploy. Everybody can see through it. It's a political stunt, plain and simple. I ask that we take the politics out of this and let the next council make this decision, or even if it even comes up, because it looks like we're already getting our lion's share of funds, and all this will do is hurt us. Thank you.
Councilmember Sharworth?
Thank you, ma'am. As being a first responder and member of the Kenner Fire Department, I kind of look at this as mutual aid. When you can't afford all the equipment that you need to put out a fire or respond to emergency incident where you're fire or police, you depend on other departments to fill that void. we're coming over here and we're going to annihilate ourselves and say, we're not going to be a part of your team, or they're not going to be a part of our team. So if we don't support Jefferson Parish, don't expect Jefferson Parish to support us. So I thought this was going to be a good idea, but after further listening to people talk and reading the underlying parts of this, I can't agree to this. I'm sorry, Brian. Sorry.
Councilmember Brannigan.
Yes, and, you know, I feel that the working relationship that we have with Jefferson Parish has gotten much better through the years. Basically, Mayor Glaze's administration and Councilwoman Bohannon being there, and the amount of things that are being done in conjunction with each other are phenomenal. And you know, when you're looking at a $380,000 to $400,000 number versus a $19 million number, I'm a spreadsheet guy, and when you look at, you know, how long it takes to recoup that, I just don't think it makes a lot of sense to go and try and take $380,000 to $400,000 or $500,000 or whatever number is, because the numbers are all over the place, but we know it's not more than about 5. I don't think that we should be in that position. And at this time, when I send stuff to the parish, I mean, I had a canal bank caving in. I sent it straight to the director of the drainage, and I think his name's Mark. And so I sent him a video. I said, look, I got a section in District 4 on Joe Yenny Boulevard that's caving in. And within 3 months, they were out there repairing. And they do these type of things all over Jefferson Parish, where they put the rocks in and all. When I called Councilwoman Bohannon and said she knows Musperolino was very close to my heart, and I asked her I needed some upgrades at the football stadium, she was right there funding the visitor's side for me and getting things done. When I look at the big dollar items that are out there, the pennies on the dollar, the 380 to 500, whatever that number is, I don't think it's worth us putting that amount of money in jeopardy. And the next council could deal with this. Again, 57 days from an election kind of disturbs me to have something like this come up.
Councilmember Dunn.
Yeah, when I first saw this, I was elated. I was happy to put money into into my parks. Now, Councilman Lee did put money in the 2 parks that's in my district, and that's Bessie Hammond and Rosemary Minor. With the gyms, you know, of course, out of my funding, I put money into the floors and the concession stands and things like this. This sounds like a great opportunity, but since Councilman Lee is willing to sit down and talk to me, and maybe we can get some other things going, I would rather at this time sit and have a conversation with him on this issue to, you know, because I think it's important to have a working relationship with the council person. And right now, since I do, I want to utilize that reputation. So at this time, I cannot vote for it. I'd rather wait and speak with Councilman Lee on this issue.
Councilmember Brennan.
Thank you. Well, again, to question the legality or the not legality, and you didn't get this till Monday, that's when things get put on the agenda. Everybody's put things on the agenda that we've gotten on a Monday, and I haven't gotten calls on everything to go, I put this on or I'm putting that on. So to keep saying this is political, yes, people are saying it at the door. I'm knocking doors in the afternoons, and people are mentioning this. I'm not trying to break any ground or relationship with Jefferson Parish. The last time I called Councilwoman Bohannon was the day of the Driftwood Parade, and she had a wedding that evening. I left her a voicemail message. She sent me a text saying, I'm getting ready for a wedding in the family and I'll call you. Hadn't heard back from her. So I'm not trying to upset the apple cart. This is what I was trying to do, have a conversation about this. If it's something we can do, but to say we're going to lose other funds, that's kind of questionable in its own right. Well, yeah, we're going to give you this, but we're going to take this back. That's kind of a, this is questionable, you're saying? Councilwoman Dunn is saying Councilman Lee wants to sit down with her and talk about the playgrounds. That's what this is all about. It was an idea to have a conversation so we could see if it's possible. I said it at the beginning. It had been said 3 times or it's been put forward. Just because something got put forward 7 million years ago doesn't mean it can't get brought up again. When we did the Wood Lake, when I got in office, everybody complained about the entrance to Wood Lake and the streetlights. At the time, there was a traffic study done. They kept saying you need lights, not stop signs. As time has gone on, another traffic study was done. Traffic was not as bad. They said, yes, now's the time you can put up stop signs. Just because it's been asked before doesn't mean it can't be brought up again. And if that's the whole reason, that, to me, we need to learn from experience, and we need to learn from the past. So again, all this was let's have a conversation. Is it something we can do? Is it not something we can do? I would think Parks and Recreation would appreciate having some more money. And again, if we're going to lose money somewhere else, I'm not trying to upset Jefferson Parish and the relationship with Jefferson Parish. I've got a good relationship with many of the council members. To just say that's to me, that's a little interesting in its own right. So if you don't want to vote for it, fine. I'm just trying to do something that would get some more money for Parks and Recreation. And if you're mad because you didn't get it until Monday, that's how it's done. That's when the agenda is done. So anyway, in closing again, all I was trying to do was have a conversation. And we've had a pretty good conversation about it this morning. Thank you.
Councilwoman McKinney, if I could briefly respond to that.
Actually, can I speak?
Sure.
Thanks. I think that all of this discussion I agree with Councilman Brennan. I think that the whole point of this is to have a conversation, to find out. I'm knocking doors too. Quality of life is very important. Our recreation department in all of our, it's underfunded. I mean, I'm hoping to meet with the recreation director to give more funding from our capital funds to help with the parks. As an at-large member, I don't have any specific parks that I need to focus on. I work with other council members. I work with other entities and work with the director to find out, what the needs of the city are. I think it's really important to have these open conversations. And, whether I'm for this, whether I'm against this, I think that this is a very important thing to realize that we're underfunded in our recreation department. We don't have dedicated funding. We don't have as many students as kids. And quite honestly, years ago, it's been a problem for 10, 15, 16 years. Obviously, 16 years ago, when this conversation, when this was on in 2010, it was an issue then. So it's an ongoing issue. We need to find a way to fully fund our parks and meet the needs of all the Kenner residents. I think that, depending on what conversation, I'm open-minded to what this is, but I think that this is a very valuable conversation to have. I don't think that it has anything to do with timing. I think, we can talk about whatever we want whenever we put legislation on, and that's the whole point of being a legislative body. So I'm going to let Councilwoman Bohannon respond, and then I believe Councilman Lahat would like to speak. Councilman Bohannon.
I just wanted to respond to the comment that I have not had communication. I don't know anyone that would support that theory, but Councilman Brennan, if you go back and look at our text, that text about the wedding, right before that is, can you grab coffee late afternoon or Tuesday around 5-ish? I had invited you to coffee, you never responded. And you canceled 2 meetings before that, going back to October. But at the end of the day, the communication between the parish offices and this council and this administration has been amazing. I feel like we're moving some very small mountains in Kenner because of that communication, and all of us moving in the right direction, in the same direction. So I just wanted to briefly respond to that comment. The only other communication that we had was a letter that you sent. I brought that today in case somehow this became about me. You sent one letter, I did respond. Okay. I can email those to you if you'd like to refresh your memory. Okay. Okay. All right, that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Hannan.
Motion for indefinite deferral.
Motion by
Second,
Councilmember
please.
Lahat for an indefinite deferral, seconded by Councilmember Brannigan for an indefinite deferral. Any
Vote. Call.
Seeing no discussion on indefinite deferral, all council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Motion passes 6-1 for an indefinite deferral. Councilmember Brennan is opposed. Item 14 is items removed from the consent agenda. We have none. Item 15 is acceptance of contracts and similar matters approved by the mayor. Item 15A is summary ordinance number 14,059, an ordinance authorizing an agreement with Sears Environmental Services Incorporated to provide post-disaster debris collection, processing, and disposal services in accordance with RFP 25-6928. I have a motion by Councilmember Wilmot, seconded by Councilmember McKinney. All council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15B is summary ordinance number 14,060, an ordinance authorizing an agreement with Debris Tech LLC to provide post-disaster debris management and monitoring services in accordance with RFP 25-6927.
Motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilmember Brannigan. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Council members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15C is summary ordinance number 14,061, an ordinance authorizing an agreement with SLSCO Limited to provide post-disaster services and support in accordance with RFP 25-6926.
Motion by Councilmember Wilmot, seconded by Councilmember Brannigan. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Council members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15D is summary ordinance number 14,062, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from AGAS Manufacturing Incorporated to supply flags as needed citywide in accordance with electronic bid 26-2204 and an amount not to exceed $25,000 annually for the General Services Department.
Motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilmember Sharwood. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Council members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15E is summary ordinance number 14,063, an ordinance approving an increase to the not-to-exceed amount of $19,958.94 to $21,805.24 for the purchase of materials for electrical upgrades at Fassbender Center from Armstrong's Supply Company Incorporated.
Motion by Councilmember Sharwood, seconded by Councilmember Brennan. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Council members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15F is summary ordinance number 14,064, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Beacon Air Conditioning, Heating, and Refrigeration Incorporated to remove gas rooftop unit, furnish and install one 5-ton unit at Heritage Hall in accordance with electronic bid 26-2206 and an amount not to exceed $13,947 for the General Services Department.
Motion by Councilmember Dunn, seconded by Councilmember Lahat. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Council members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15G is summary ordinance number 14,065, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Economical Janitorial and Paper Supplies LLC to supply janitorial supplies as needed citywide in accordance with seal bid 26-6937 and an amount not to exceed $150,000 annually for the General Services Department.
Motion by Councilmember Brannigan, seconded by Councilmember Sharwood. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Council members in favor say aye. Opposed say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15H is summary ordinance number 14,066, an ordinance repealing ordinance 12,974 adopted November 21st, 2025, and accepting the lowest responsibility received from PCV Construction LLC to remove, furnish, and install new countertops at Fire Station 37 in accordance with electronic bid 26-2205 in the amount of $14,560 for the General Services Department.
Motion by Councilor Sharwood, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Councilmember Sharwood.
Why repealing this one?
The original lowest bidder couldn't provide us with the insurance requirement, so they withdrew their bid.
Thank you.
Thank you. Council members in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15I is summary ordinance number 14,067, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of 20 Ops Core Fast XR ballistic helmets from Castle and King LLC, a sole source provider, and the amount of $40,000 for the Kenner Police Department.
Motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilmember Lahat. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item?
Chief.
Thank
you, ma'am.
Member
Can you
Sharwood.
describe these helmets for us and what they're?
Yeah, so first off, I want to thank the council as a whole. I understand the council has put in the funding for this. These are 20 ballistic helmets. They're rated to handle a certain caliber of weapon that a SWAT team would encounter. This is for the SWAT team. The existing helmets that the team have expired or about to expire, so there's some urgency to this. So I want to thank the council for their support. But these are actually, most ballistic helmets expire after 5 years. These will expire after 7, and they have other protections such as respirators, fentanyl protection, things of that nature. So it's a very important asset. You know, when we send these men and women into these dangerous situations as SWAT teams do, you want to make sure you certainly have them ballistically protected so that they go home to their families at night as well. So thank you all so much for that.
What are we going to do with the old helmets?
They get destroyed.
Get destroyed. Okay.
Councilman Brennan would like to speak.
Councilman Brennan.
Thank you for that, Chief, and I'd like to thank my colleagues on the council, because yes, when this was brought to my attention, I reached out to the council members, and everybody did agree to put up money for this. So obviously, we are very much in support of your department, so thank them as well.
Yeah, thank you all so much.
Thank you. Council members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15J is summary ordinance number 14,068. An ordinance accepting federal funds from the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development Transportation Alternatives Program to provide a multi-use path pedestrian/bicycle along the median area of West Loyola Drive to West Esplanade Avenue, and then westbound along the median area of West Esplanade Avenue to connect an existing multi-use path by the west return walls/Lake Pontchartrain.
Motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilmember McKinney. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Council members in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15K is summary ordinance number 14,069, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsibility received from Pontchartrain Materials Corporation LLC to supply limestone aggregate on an as-needed basis in accordance with seal bid 26-6936, and an amount not to exceed $200,000 annually for the Public Works Department.
Motion by Councilmember Lahat, seconded by Councilmember Dunn. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Councilmember Brannigan.
Yes, I'm abstaining from this vote. That's my brother-in-law's company.
Okay. Council members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Motion passes 6-0. Councilman Brannigan has abstained. Item 15L is summary ordinance number 14,070, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsibility received from W.J. Belosha Company LLC to provide professional services, labor only, for fixtures, lamps, and wiring on an as-needed basis in accordance with seal bid 26-6933, and an amount not to exceed $500,000 annually for the Public Works Department.
Motion by Councilmember Wilmot, seconded by Councilmember Sharwood. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Councilmember Wilmot?
I just want an explanation since it's a high dollar amount.
Councilman. Yes, this is our contract for labor only. If you'll see, we have a multitude of different types of traffic controls, street lights and things of that nature, and other projects that we have throughout the city, that we have 2 electricians and Public Works. We have a few, but this helps with our labor in terms of getting the work that's much needed done throughout the city, including in recreation.
And this is the annual
I believe it's 2-year or 1-year contract.
It's a 2-year contract.
2-year?
Yeah.
And,
It's 2-year.
and what was it last time? Do we know?
The current contract
Yes.
was for 450,000.
450, okay, so it's in the same ballpark.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Councilman Brannigan?
I'll be abstaining from this vote because Blue Cheer Company is a client of mine for 30 years.
Any other items? Okay. Council members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 6-0. Councilman Brannigan has abstained. Item 15M is summary ordinance number 14,071, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Drago Investments LTD, doing business as Monarch Trophy Studio to supply sports awards in accordance with electronic bid 25-2194 and an amount not to exceed $31,713 for the Parks and Recreation Department.
Motion by Councilmember Brannigan, seconded by Councilmember Sharworth. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Council members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15N is summary ordinance number 14,072, an ordinance approving an increase to the not-to-exceed amount of $250,000 to $350,000 for the purchase of bleachers from Han Enterprises Incorporated, utilizing state contract number 4400032406.
Motion by Councilmember Brannigan, seconded by Councilmember McKinney. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Yes. Councilmember
Where are the
Sharwood.
bleachers going to go to? Are they going to a playground, or are they going to a gym, or?
This is just initially for Buddy Lawson, but we added 100,000 just in case there's other projects. So this was initially the Musbertolino contract that we used to get the bleachers, and I think Councilwoman Dunn has a project for Buddy Lawson, so that's why we're doing it, but it's not the full amount. We could use the contract for other projects as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Council members in favor, say aye. Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15O is summary ordinance number 14,073, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Southern Controls to provide soft starts and VFDs on an as-needed basis in accordance with seal bid 26-6934 and an amount not to exceed $200,000 for the wastewater department.
Motion by Councilmember McKinney, seconded by Councilmember Lahat. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Council members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15P is summary ordinance number 14,074, an ordinance accepting the quote received from Zima Corporation Custer's Water Division, a sole source provider, to purchase 2 grit classifiers in the amount of $142,451 for the wastewater department.
Motion by Councilmember Sharwood, seconded by Councilmember Dunn. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Council members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15Q is summary ordinance number 14,075, an ordinance approving an agreement with Waste Pro of Louisiana Incorporated for weekend drop-off site operation, labor only, and an amount not to exceed $24,000 annually for the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilmember Wilmot, seconded by Councilmember Dunn. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item?
Ma'am?
Okay, yes. Mr. Teft?
Greg Tapp, 5th District. I received an explanation earlier about some of the things that took place that I wasn't aware of. But the only thing I want to emphasize on right now is while it wasn't included in the new recycling contract, I don't know why it was left out, but it was. So we can't go back and fix that because that contract's already set. This here is for 2 years, and it's my understanding that due to some quirks and qualms that entered into play while they while we was trying to handle the dump, can we amend this for 1 year to give the city an opportunity to at least see what we can do and if our employees can really handle it? Because I'd like to see this handled by city employees as opposed to Waste Pro. And to me, that way it gives our employees an opportunity to make a little more money, maybe overtime, but I think it would come out cheaper because anytime you use a contractor, you are going to spend more money for that service. So I'd like y'all to consider that. Otherwise, I got the explanation as to what took place. I'm settled with that. This is my only concern, is taking care of our employees, giving our employees a chance to amend it for 1 year to give the city and our employees the opportunity to learn the process or to get whatever equipment we might need. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tefts. Mr. Councilmember Wilmot?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, as far as this was concerned, I spoke to Ms. Vallow about it, and I think she's got all the background and information on it, and if you will, just give us an explanation as to this, and cover Mr. Teff's issue, if you will.
Yes, initially, we had, several contracts which had the drop site in it. We have several contracts that have fallen off. So in the interim, in February, the contract that we held that was manned and operated by Ramelli ended. So in that interim, we made a decision based on looking at the frequency within which the citizens of the city of Kenner come to the drop site. It seems to be something that's very beneficial. Our next determination is if we need to develop a job description for such a thing, if we're going to continue to do it. Again, that space could be utilized for other things as well, but right now, it is a short-term commitment of only 2 years, and the contract amount is less than $24,000, and literally, it will come back, it's probably less than that on a yearly basis. Again, the drop site's only operated between 9 and 3 o'clock on Saturdays and Sundays. So you're looking at about $15,000 in labor costs. But it's certainly something that we want to look at in terms of bringing it in-house. But this gives us an opportunity to look and assess what we're going to do with the drop site. So if you have any other questions.
Would it be more costly? Right now, the assumption is it's more costly for have employees man it?
It would be a little bit more costly. Right now, you were looking at about, if we're paying, it would be with overtime hours at this point because we don't have a job description. You're looking at about $23.67 an hour. Our cost per weekend would be $336.22. With Waste Pro, it's a flat $300 per weekend.
Thank you for that.
Councilmember Brannigan?
Well, I'm very happy that this is on the agenda, and I will be voting for it since I frequent the drop site many times.
Just for you, Councilman.
Yes, actually, I wanted to find out what's the utilization of people besides Councilman Brannigan?
It's a tremendous amount. I've been out there on weekends. And what I would also like, this gives me an opportunity to speak to all of you and the citizens of Kenner. If we could stop dumping on our major thoroughfares.
That's right.
This is the outlet and an avenue for which to do it. If you have a large bulk item that needs to be done and you have a pickup truck, you can bring it to our drop site. I kindly request that you stop throwing it in the neutral ground. It would be great. We have all these signs that say stop dumping, but yet it still happens. We have this resource, and I hope the citizens are aware of it.
Well, I mean, people can actually call Waste Pro and ask them to pick it up, correct?
There is, and you also have your second day of garbage collection is your bulk waste pickup. They will be eyeballing and making sure, but make sure you know it's your second bulk waste. We've had some confusion with that, and if there are any issues, we have our online complaint system. Waste Pro is very responsive to making to returning citizens' phone calls. And again, sometimes some pickups won't happen as a result of placing them by the telephone lines or by a mailbox or a fire hydrant. In if they're using, like a claw to pick it up, they don't want to cause any problems. So in those instances, they'll bring an oops card, hang it on the door, and say, please call us, and we'll give you further direction.
Great, thank you. Councilmember Dunn.
Yeah, definitely anything to keep this district clean. We've definitely used the drop site. And with Waste Pro, they have been very good. Every time there is a big load and if the constituents complain, they do come out. So I'm very happy with it. I know as a result of that, things are a whole lot better, and we've definitely used it. Not only just Councilman Brennan, but personally, we've used it also.
Thank you. Councilman Wilmot?
Yeah, I'd just like to comment too, as far as, I do use the drop-off site as well, maybe not as much as Councilman Brannigan, but I have an oak tree and we trim it about every 9 months and it produces a lot of debris and so forth, and I just stack it in the back of my pickup truck and I haul it over there, again, every 9 months or so, and probably for other items as well. Very, very, very useful, so thank you. That's all, just want to make sure the public's aware.
I have one.
Councilmember Sharwood?
Are we leaving the same lock on the gate? No. Oh, God, I had that combination.
Well, I just want to say that for people who don't have a pickup truck and can't pick up their own trash, they do have curbside trash still for bulk pickup. So, council members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15R is summary of ordinance number 14,076, an ordinance approving the utilization of state contract number 44000282250 in an amount not to exceed $400,000 annually for the various departments.
Motion by Councilmember Lahat, seconded by Councilmember Dunn. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Councilmember Wilmot?
If we can just get an explanation on this one. It's 400,000.
Yeah, it's a state contract with League Tractor, so the Recreation Department is looking to purchase a track loader, but we know that there will be more purchases in the future. So it's similar, we did the same thing last year, it's just the state put out a new bid because that contract had expired. So last year we spent about $280,000 on equipment, and so it's the same contract.
Thank you. That's all.
Councilmember Brannigan, you have a question? Okay. Okay. Council members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15S is summary ordinance number 14,077, an ordinance accepting the quote received from Precision PSI LLC to replace one Grunfus pump for the Gabriel Lift Station in the amount of $9,375 for the wastewater department.
Motion by Councilman Brannigan, seconded by Councilman McKinney. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Council members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15T is summary ordinance number 14,078, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Reynolds Industrial Contractors Incorporated, doing business as Catamaran Industrial Services, related to the installation of a generator at the Kenner Food Bank in accordance with seal bid 26-6932, and an amount not to exceed $124,928 for the Department of Federal Program Compliance.
Motion by Councilmember Dunn, seconded by Councilmember Lahat. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Council members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15U is summary ordinance number 14,079, an ordinance approving amendment number 1 to the agreement with Fleming Construction Company LLC to provide concrete street maintenance and small jobs on an as-needed basis, increasing the agreement amount by $500,000 annually for a new not-to-exceed amount of $1,900,000 annually for the Public Works Department.
Motion by Councilmember Lahat, seconded by Councilmember Brannigan. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Councilmember Wilmot?
Yes, I'd just like an explanation on this one, since we do have a large increase, and I'm sure it's for the right reasons. And I mean, street and concrete, we need them. I know.
It's always for the right reason.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, this is a 3-year contract for concrete maintenance related work. It has a cap of $1.4 million per year. Thus far, we have spent about asking for a $500,000 increase to the gap, bringing it from 1.4 to 1.9. That would allow us for the next 3.5 months to perform much needed work on, roadways, sidewalks, and so on. We can take the attitude of not doing anything. We're gonna reach the gap. Once we reach the gap, we're not gonna be able to do anything. The contract is being bid right now. In all likelihood, we're gonna get higher unit prices on the next contract. So it will be wise to increase the gap right now and allow us to proceed with the pending work order.
And Mr. Gonzalez, you do an outstanding job at what you do, and we appreciate you very much. And if you say you need this, you got it. Thank you.
Councilman Lahat?
Yeah, Deputy Gonzalez, this is our current contractor we have?
The current contract, yes, with Fleming.
Yes.
$1.4 million per year. It's a 2-year contract and expires June 30th. It also applies to wheelchair ramps.
Yeah, that's what I want, a voice of support, because I'm blowing up a lot of corners around District 3.
It applies to a lot of roadway-related work where we have experienced a lot of problems.
And they're pretty fast.
With open joints, with drainage pipes, open joints with sewer. In Councilman Brannigan's district, we had an incident on Medoc and Talbot that it was quite expensive.
Well, they're doing a good job. Christine Calamari, thank you for your coordination on that too in the back. Appreciate it.
She's doing all the hard work, by the way.
She works very, very hard, like back there.
And I'd like to make a comment too, that this increase is pretty much, y'all all are responsible for it. Each and every one of y'all are responsible for this. Because if you don't increase it, the fund forms y'all send me, they don't get signed because there's no money. So consider yourself lucky that y'all created this problem.
Yes, Councilman Brannigan.
Yeah, and one of the reasons, we had a really bad problem on Medoc and Tavel, as Jose talked about, where the street caved in and they had to go out, and when I saw the plumbing work for the 2 drains and how extensive it was, and now we have to change probably 200 feet of the street, it's a very expensive deal. So, and it has to be done. Now, the residents in District 4 that live in that area, we have talked about this and made a decision that we have the street where it's drivable, and we're gonna wait till school is out, which makes the most sense to start tearing the street up because of the amount of cars and traffic that makes that turn, dropping kids off, picking kids up, and all of the buses that go through that area. So you're gonna have some inconvenience for the next couple of months, but it'll be fixed in the month of June this year.
Thank you. Council members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15V is summary ordinance number 14,081, an ordinance approving a professional services agreement with Digital Engineering and Imaging Incorporated regarding Loyola Drive, 31st Street to West Loyola resurfacing improvement project, state project number H.015-554.6, federal aid project number H.0155554 for the Department of Public Works.
A motion by Councilmember Dunn, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot.
Madam Chairman, we've received a request to amend this item. If I could read it into the record.
Yeah.
At the request of the administration, we will amend the 5th whereas to include the account number of 384-3031-5024-1453. In the first section, we will insert the amount of $330,000. In Section 2, we will insert the amount of $330,000. In Section 3, the first amount inserted would be $264,000. The second amount would be $66,000, and we will be deleting the wording funding from account number. If I could get a motion and a second on the amendment as the clerk has read into the record.
Motion by Councilmember Dunn, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot to amend this item. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Council members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Motion passes 7-0 to amend. Back to your original motion as amended. Council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0 to approve as amended. Item 15W is summary ordinance number 14,082, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from R.J. Daigle and Sons Contractors Incorporated by the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development in the amount of $1,485,378.71 for the Loyola Drive, 31st Street to West Loyola Drive, resurfacing improvements project, state project number H.01555546.6, federal aid project number H.015554 for the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilmember Dunn, seconded by Councilmember Brennan.
Madam Chairman, I've also received a request to amend this item. The administration is requesting that the fourth whereas, the account number please read as 384-3031-5024-1453. And in the third section, we will be deleting the words funding from account number. If I could get a motion and a second on the amendment?
Yes, motion by Councilmember Dunn, seconded by Councilmember Brennan to amend the item. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Council members in favor, say aye. Opposed, say nay. And then
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0 to amend.
and voting on the amendment, or as amended, motion by Councilmember Dunn, second by Councilmember Brennan. Council members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0 to approve as amended. Item 15X is summary ordinance number 14,083, an ordinance approving professional services agreement with Royal Engineers and Consultants LLC regarding Veterans Memorial Boulevard, LA 49 to Roosevelt Boulevard, resurfacing improvements project, state project number H.015562.6, federal aid project number H.015562 for the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilmember Sharwood, seconded by Councilmember McKinney. And
Madam
there's-
Chairman, I've received a request to amend this item as well. In the fifth whereas, we will insert account number 384-3031-5024-1453. In the section 2, we will insert the amount of $150,000. In section 3, we will insert $120,000 and then the amount of $30,000 and delete the wording funding from account number.
Motion by Councilmember Sharwood, seconded by Councilmember Minnie to amend this item. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this, on the amendment? No. Okay. All council members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0 to amend.
As amended, motion by Councilmember Sharwood, seconded by Councilmember McKinney. Anyone wishing to speak on this item? Councilman Brannigan?
Do we know when this is starting?
April.
This,
Sometime in April this
okay.
year. That's the veteran project. The Loyola project that you have voted on also starts in April.
Okay.
And they both federal aid projects, 81.
Okay.
And I guess while we're speaking, the last two, this one and the next one, are funds that come from, as you can see where the fund comes from, but it's through the regional planning, that these two projects weren't slated to start in April. They, being that, and I'd like to congratulate Jose, his team, for always having the stuff ready to go. And when other municipalities and parishes aren't ready to go and the money's sitting around, it's got to be spent, they call Jose and say, what you got? And these are the two that they pushed up. And we were recently awarded power from West Esplanade to Vintage. That's going to, that's a what? It's 2.5 years. Once they say you got the money, you know how government slowly moves, and that, you know, in Williams Boulevard, starting when? 32nd Street to Joe Yanni.
In all likelihood, July.
So we're going to have a whole lot of bad traffic jams in Kenner, but it's all working good.
Councilmember Sharwood?
Thank you, ma'am. Jose, what was the price that we were going to pay and for the resurfacing of veterans?
The veterans project, the one that you're voting on right now is for construction engineering service. It's roughly $150,000. It's on an 80-20 split. The other one that you're going to be voting on is to allow the city to enter into a contract with the construction contractor. The bid amount is $1.143 million on an 80-20 split. That project is probably going to last 3 months. And it's a section of beds between Williams and Roosevelt.
So it's a little over $1 million then
Roughly 1.2.
to do that section,
Resurface.
to resurface that section there?
Resurfacing, striping.
Right, and you said that was,
ramps as need be.
right, you said that was our price. Who else is going in with this? I mean, is it just, we're just paying for it? Or is it Jefferson Parish and,
No, this is 80/20.
oh, 80/20?
The city's coming up with a 20% local match, and the federal government is paying 80% of the construction costs.
Okay, I've got, because I was saying, we're paying $1 million to resurface veterans. I paid $350,000 for 4 blocks. I was saying like,
You know, the big difference is
Yeah.
it's a federal aid project.
I appreciate it, thank you.
Councilman Brannigan, do you need any other comments? Okay. Okay. Motion by Councilmember Sharworth, seconded by Councilmember Keeney. Council members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0 to approve as amended. Item 15Y is summary ordinance number 14,084, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Barber Brothers Contracting Company, LLC, by the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development in the amount of $1,143,737.50 for the Veterans Memorial Boulevard, LA 49 to Roosevelt Boulevard resurfacing improvements project, state project number H.015562.6, federal aid project number H.015562 for the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilmember Sharworth, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot. There's amendments?
Yes, ma'am. I have an amendment on this one as well. In the fourth whereas, we will insert the account number 384-3031-5024-1453. In section 3, we will delete the wording funded from account number.
Motion by Councilmember Sharworth, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot to amend this item. Is there anyone wishing to speak on the amendments? Seeing none, council members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0 to amend.
Motion, so as amended, motion by Councilmember Sharworth, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot. Anyone wishing to speak on the item? Councilmember Wilmot?
Yeah, I'm sure this is another good project, Mr. Gonzalez, and if you can, just so we can, the public can hear what it's about, if you will, give us an explanation. Thank you.
Well, this is for the resurfacing of Veterans Boulevard between Williams and Roosevelt. On the last one, you voted to enter into a contract with an engineering firm for construction engineering service. This is a contract to enter into an agreement or a contract with a construction contract that is going to be performing the work on Veterans Boulevard between Williams and Roosevelt. The price tag is roughly $1.2 million, and the feds are going to pay for 80% of that cost. It should take around 3 months. Work to start sometime in April.
So this is at 80% that it's being paid for, and we paid the other 20.
The 80% is being paid by the Federal Highway Administration. The 20% is being paid with local funds via the finance director right next to me.
Beautiful, beautiful, good stuff. Thank you again for all y'all's hard work. This makes a difference to the city. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Okay. Council members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 16 is ordinances and resolution in summary for first reading. Item 16A is an ordinance levying the annual tax millage rates for the year 2026 totaling 28 16/100 mills on the dollar of the assessed valuation of all taxable property within the corporate limits of the city of Kenner, Louisiana, on the 2006 tax roll. Please be advised that the date of the public hearing for final adoption of the millages will be held on Friday, April 17th at 11 a.m. for all public input. Item 16B is an ordinance accepting the quote from Precision PSI LLC to replace Grunfuss pump for the 33rd and Connecticut lift station in the amount of $82,275 for the wastewater department. Item 16C is an ordinance authorizing the utilization of state contract number 44000344974 with Lee Tractor Company Incorporated to purchase industrial equipment on an as-needed basis in an amount not to exceed $800,000 annually for the Fleet Management Department. Item 16D is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Coleman Roofing and Construction, Gonzalez LLC for Fleet Management Center roof repairs and replacement in accordance with seal bid 26-6935 in an amount not to exceed $135,000 for the General Services Department. Item 16E is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Ray Shad AC and Heating LLC to remove, furnish, and install 3 rooftop package AC units at Fassbender Center in accordance with seal bid 26-6938 in an amount not to exceed $129,000 for the General Services Department. Item 16F is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Roofing Solutions LLC for Punch Train Center roof repairs and replacement in accordance with seal bid 26-6941 in an amount not to exceed $1,197,000 for the General Services Department. Item 16G is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Zach the Builder LLC to furnish and install high solids silicone to Rivertown Theater metal roof in accordance with seal bid 26-6939 in an amount not to exceed $45,500 for the General Services Department. Item 16H is an ordinance ratifying emergency repairs of engine 366 located at 2000 Reverend Richard Wilson Drive by Industrial Fire and Apparatus LLC in the amount of $11,818 for the Kenner Fire Department. Item 16I is an ordinance ratifying emergency repairs of ladder 377 located at 1919 40th Street, engine 398 located at 400 Vintage Drive, rescue 379 located at 3343 Williams Boulevard, and engines 366 and 368 located at 2000 Reverend Richard Wilson Drive by Siddons Martin Emergency Group in the amount of $20,727.23 for the Kenner Fire Department. Item 16J is an ordinance approving the purchase of 1 and reinstallation of 3 Applied Information Field Monitoring Unit FMU preempt priority systems from Temple Incorporated as a sole source provider in the amount of $7,381 for the Kenner Fire Department. Item 16K is an ordinance authorizing the purchase of an armored tactical response vehicle from Lenco Industries Incorporated, a sole source provider, in the amount of $415,720 for the Kenner Fire Police Department. Item 16L is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Retief Oil Fuel LLC to furnish and install an OPW PV200 Fuel Island Terminal with MAG card reader in accordance with electronic bid 26-2203 in an amount not to exceed $15,275 for the Kenner Police Department. Item 16M is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from BLD Services LLC to provide cleaning and flushing of subsurface drain lines and drain structure on an as-needed basis in accordance with seal bid 26-6940 in an amount not to exceed $150,000 annually for the Public Works Department. Item 16N is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Semsco Incorporated to supply frames and grates on an as-needed basis in accordance with electronic bid 26-2208 in an amount not to exceed $50,000 annually for the Public Works Department. Item 16O is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Beacon Air Conditioning, Heating, and Refrigeration Incorporated to remove, furnish, and install an ice machine at Buddy Lawson Gym in accordance with electronic bid 26-2209 in an amount not to exceed $6,347 for the Parks and Recreation Department. Item 16P is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from GeoSport Lighting Systems LLC to furnish LED lighting and materials for Buddy Lawson Playground in accordance with seal bid 26-6942 and an amount not to exceed $64,168 for the Parks and Recreation Department. Item 16Q is an ordinance accepting the quote received from Fluid Process and Pumps LLC to repair 1 Fairbanks Morse effluent pump number 5 at the wastewater treatment plant in the amount of $76,645 for the wastewater department. Item 17 is reports from the council and/or special committees.
Mayor Glazer would like to mention something since he missed us. Didn't you have something?
Yeah, since I was late for the meeting, didn't get any mayor's comments. I'd like to, this past Tuesday, I'd like to congratulate the 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 boys basketball champions. They held their championship games at Berlino, and congratulations to the winners. And also some exciting, long overdue news that this upcoming Monday at 11 a.m. at 325 Duke Street, we're doing a ribbon cutting on a brand-new fire station. So it's, long overdue. I think I was in my first term as police chief when this was all being talked about, but it's finally open. It may not have all the furniture in it, but it'll have some. So that's Monday at 11 a.m. at the Duke Street Fire Station. And that's it.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Any, Councilman Brannigan?
Yes, I just, the event on March 28th at Miguez Park, the Civic Association group there really does a great job hosting events at the park. There's an Easter egg hunt. I know that Councilwoman Bohannon has a large part in it too, and that park wouldn't be where it is or how it is today without her. And in the past, my colleagues on the council did help with some funding things in the beginning of the build of the Inclusion Park. If you have a child on the spectrum, it is perfect place for you to take them. Also, when you go out there and you see all the kids playing, it's just an incredible place for them to have a lot of fun. So on March 28th from 12 to 3, that event will happen with an Easter egg hunt. Thank you.
Councilmember Wilmot?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Today's my wife's birthday today, so I wish to extend to her a happy birthday. And if you happen to come across her in person or on Facebook, please tell her happy birthday. Thank you all.
What did you do wrong?
Doesn't the city also have an Easter egg hunt this on the 28th?
Yes, but
Oh, it's sold out?
yes.
So, okay. Any other? Oh, Councilmember Schwartz.
Yes, I'd like to give everyone, again, another update on the Roosevelt project. Limestone's been added, compacted, storm drains, catch basins are in place, laterals are in place, and it should start pouring southbound Roosevelt from West Napoleon to 21st Street on Tuesday, and then finish from 21st to West Metairie on Thursday. So let's hope that we got good weather and nothing breaks. Thank you.
Item 18 is new business. We have none. Item 19 is unfinished business and motions to reconsider or remove from a tabled position. We have none. Item 20 is persons wishing to address the council on special subject matters.
We have 3 people. I'd like to invite Mr. Teft in 3 minutes.
Greg Taft, 5th District. All I want to say is I won't be able to make the grand opening for the new fire department on Duke for personal reasons, but I can't tell you how happy I am that it's happening. Because I've always been advocating for our first responders, and I think it's a positive move. And once we get there and we start working on some of the others and getting them in shape, I think we'll be moving in the right direction to take care of them. And the only other thing I want to bring up, and it's not to go after them, but because I don't know if it's O'Malley or I don't know if it's Waste Pro, but lately there's been a lot of trash that seems to be left on the street or going through the yards. Now, I do pick up the trash in the medium front of my house, and also when it gets in my yard, of course, where my steps are, it goes underneath the steps and it really piles up pretty good. I'm just asking that maybe they be more aware that if something does drop, that a breeze does blow it into neighbors' yards, and of course it also ends up on the street. because when they cut the medium, they're having to pick up the trash as they're mowing it. So it's improved, but it's still happening. And I just want to point that out. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Teft. I'd like to invite the next person who signed up, Kaylin Ramirez. If you could, you have 3 minutes. If you can state your address or district.
Hello, Caitlin Ramirez, District 5. I reviewed today's agenda this week, and I just wanted to say that I appreciate all of the work that's being done. I want to better understand how these decisions impact our residents. Therefore, with the items being discussed and approved, how will the city ensure that these decisions translate into measurable improvements in quality of life for residents across Kenner? Anyone can address.
Is that all that you have? Just
Yes,
because,
yes.
Okay. Would anyone like to respond?
I'll respond, please. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for coming. So, as discussed earlier, the agenda is released on Monday, and if you look at it online, I think today's was in excess of 1,200 pages with all the supporting documentation. Every council member gets it, and then every council member has an opportunity to speak with department heads, the administration, the legal department, fire department, or police department, to ask them specific questions about items they may have on there. A lot of the things that Mr. Gonzalez talked about today, we'll have that information ahead of time so we could react accordingly or vote accordingly. The first reading's an important part because we get to look at that, and if we have questions ahead of time, that can be done as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Ryan Nugent, 3 minutes, and district or address, please.
Thank you, Councilwoman McKinney. My name is Ryan Nugent, and I live in District 3. I'd like to start by extending a sincere thank you to Tracy Bro from the Mayor's Office and to the Public Works Department for their assistance with getting rid of all the cones, tree debris, and other refuse that's been cluttering up West Esplanade along Driftwood Estates. We've been staring at this stuff since at least September, and I was very excited to see that it was finally cleaned up yesterday. The second matter I wanted to speak on today relates to the timing of contract approvals brought before the council by the administration. Specifically, I'd like to suggest that perhaps bringing these matters to the council sooner is in the best interest of the city and in the best interest of deliberative democracy. Sitting in this room, I've observed numerous situations where the council sought more time to consider the merits of approving a contract, but were informed by the administration that any delay in approving said contract would result in serious consequences for the city. One such example would be the recent recycling contract, and another would be the city's lighting supply contract. In both instances, the administration waited until what appeared to be the last minute to bring these contracts before the council. As a result, we were informed that any delay in approval, even a one-meeting deferral, would have consequences. I don't believe that this is the way the system is intended to work. The timing of these votes serves, either intentionally or unintentionally, to coerce members of this council into voting for or against things that they'd like more time to evaluate. To be clear, I'm not speaking today on the merits of either of the aforementioned contracts. One of these situations played out the way I wanted it to, and one did not. The only thing they have in common is that in both instances, it was very clear that the members of this council felt pressured to vote, not to defer, based solely on statements from the administration that warned of consequences for failing to vote yes then and there. So to conclude, I think exploring the possibility of revising the timeline of contract votes is something that should merit serious consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nugent. Anyone else? You like a motion to adjourn? Adjourned.